Hello everyone. Welcome to the fourth and final part of OpManager's free training series. I hope you can hear me and see this presentation clearly. Please use the chat window to confirm the same. I'll wait for a moment to get the confirmations. Thank you. The goal of this training session is to simplify network monitoring and help you utilize OpManager in the best way possible. I hope this objective gets met by the end of this session. I would also like to let you know that there are a panel of product experts here with us. Please feel free to raise your queries on the chat panel and they'll be happy to answer all the questions right away. Let me introduce myself. I'm Vishak Pradeep. I work in the IT operations management suite for ManageEngine. Today I'll help you take a simple approach to network monitoring in OpManager. I'm glad to meet you all in this training webinar. September 19th, we discussed network discovery in detail. We talked about network monitoring in depth on September 26th, and on the third week, that is 3rd October, we talked about alerts, reports, and network mapping in OpManager. Today, we'll wrap up this fourth and final season of this year's OpManager free training series by taking up the fourth part of the webinar by discussing various add-ons and integrations, including third-party applications with which you can integrate with OpManager. All four parts of the training webinars happen across two different time zones. One is 6 a.m. GMT and the other one is 11 a.m. EDT. Also note that we'll be sending you a copy of the training video along with the presentation by tomorrow for your future reference. Let's get into part 4, that is add-ons and integrations presently. First, let's take a brief look at today's agenda. We'll look at the various add-ons available in OpManager and its benefits. Then we'll discuss about the various third-party integrations with which OpManager can seamlessly integrate. We'll conclude this session by talking about OpManager's mobile application that'll help you monitor your network on the go. So let's get started with the question here. What is an add-on? Basically, an add-on is an additional module that enhances OpManager's capabilities without the need for any additional installations. It comes bundled with the product, and all you need to do is purchase a suitable license to activate them. OpManager has a range of useful add-ons that you can leverage to extend the scope of your monitoring. So let's see what they are. There is more to IT operations than just monitoring the devices and interface in your network. You also have to perform actions like analyzing your network traffic and bandwidth consumption, configuring firewall policies to enhance network security, monitoring IP address resources and switch ports, identifying rogue devices, carrying out enterprise level configuration changes, and of course, having an in-depth visibility into the application infrastructures running in your network. OpManager's diverse add-ons help you achieve all of the above settings, that too in a single unified console. Let's now take an overview of the add-ons that are available with OpManager. We'll start off with NetFlow Analyzer. Using this add-on, you can monitor things like network traffic, patterns, bandwidth usage. Basically, you get complete visibility into how your traffic and your bandwidth is being utilized. Then after that, we have Firewall Analyzer. Firewall Analyzer helps you ensure safety and security of your network environment. Considering the increasing number of attacks on enterprises worldwide, this will come in real handy. We have Applications Manager, which is a plugin rather than an add-on. That is why it's not listed here. So Applications Manager helps you monitor all your business critical applications and resolve any trouble that may arise proactively. Next up is OpUtils, using which you can monitor your ports and IP addresses and help you keep a track of all occupied and unoccupied IPs and ports in your network. Finally, we have Network Configuration Manager, using which you can manage your network device configurations, you can automate policy-based changes, and can even ensure compliance with industry standards. In addition to that, you can maintain up-to-date firmware and avoid firmware vulnerabilities. So with all of this together, you get complete IT operations management. Now, why are add-ons in OpManager beneficial? So to perform complete IT operations management, like I mentioned before, you need multiple tools. So you need to understand traffic patterns, you need to manage configuration changes, IP address resources, everything you have to do. So that if without add-ons, you need multiple tools for this. Multiple tools means multiple licenses, multiple types of data, multiple more costs, more complexities. All of this will end up using your time and effort. OpManager help you consolidate IT operations under a unified console and license. That's one benefit. And unlike other tools, deploying an add-on is easy. they come bundled with the product. So you don't need to download and install a separate product. All you got to do is enable a module within OpManager. Since OpManager comes bundled with the add-ons, the same security and privacy policies that applies to OpManager also applies to the add-on. So your data is safe. In addition, you can utilize OpManager's wide support for vendors and device models with the add-ons as well. So you get the convenience of that along with the extended functionalities. We spoke about what an add-on is and its benefits. Now let's see how we can enable these add-ons. How can we enable add-ons? All you have to do is purchase and apply a single license for OpManager with the additional modules included in the same license, and then enable these modules within OpManager. So I'll show this to you in the UI. This is the product UI. So here, as you can see on the top right corner, you can see the gear icon. Click the gear icon, and you have the option called displayed modules. So once you purchase the required license, all you have to do is select the module that you want to apply to. So here you have the different modules: flow analysis, that is NetFlow; configuration management with NCM; firewall, oputils; deep packet inspection, which is also part of OpManager and NFA; applications monitoring. Everything is included here. So all you have to do is check the right option, and it will be enabled within your OpManager installation. So now you might have an add-on already, and you want to add the devices in that add-on to OpManager. To do that, all you have to do is go to settings, go to discovery. On the bottom, there is discovery settings. So here you have the option called discover add-on devices. If you enable this, all the devices in your enabled add-ons will get added to OpManager's inventory. So that's one way to discover add-on devices. This will do it for all add-ons. Now, what if you just want to what if you just want to discover a couple of devices from some of your add-ons? To do that, you have to go to settings. Under configuration, there is quick configuration wizard. Select discover add-on devices. So right now we don't have any add-on devices with their own individual devices. But if you have those, you can just check them and click discover, and they'll get discovered immediately. It's as simple as that. So this is how the console looks like. We just showed this to you. Now let's explore each of these add-ons in detail. So we'll talk about each add-ons, what you can get with each of these. Let's start with NetFlow Analyzer. OpManager's NetFlow Analyzer add-on is a flow-based traffic and bandwidth monitoring solution. Using this add-on, you'll get in-depth visibility on how your bandwidth is actually being used. Basically, you can monitor interface, user, and application level usage for your bandwidth. So you can see the traffic usage for your interfaces, whatever users are using them, and even the application level. So, and you can even see where this usage is coming from. You can also monitor NetFlow packets and set thresholds to monitor any anomalies or anything. This allows you to troubleshoot network issues faster. You can optimize application performance as well as detect any abnormal network activity. So license for flow analysis module is based on the number of interfaces or components for which you wish to monitor traffic and bandwidth. So how can we access this in our product? So go to the product. Under network, you have flow analysis. Here you have the list of devices, as I just show you the list of devices here, but which are discovered by the NFA add-on, that is NetFlow Analyzer add-on. So if you have discovered a bunch of devices, preferably routers, firewalls, and all, how do you get the flow data? So for that, you have to export the flow data. To do that, you have to click the plus icon here. So you can either export flow using a predefined template as shown here by providing the details here, or you could create your own custom flow export by opening a terminal. And that's two ways to export flow information from your routers to OpManager. Now, once you export the flow information, these devices will start to accumulate. They'll start to get the flow information, and they'll start to show. You can access it right here. So yeah, you go into a device by clicking it, and you can see the information for a particular time period. You can change it if you want. And right now we have traffic details. This is the 10-minute average of traffic in Mbps shown here. So you can see the overall traffic. Here you can see the flow details. So this is the received flows for on a 1-minute average, very granular. You can also see the drop flows. As you can see, there are very little drop flows here in this case. But yeah, if there are any top flows, you can see this right here. Right now, I mentioned traffic. This is the overall traffic utilization. Now, what you have is I told you that we could monitor interface specific and application specific. So click here and you have interface specific traffic utilization. So these are all the interfaces in this particular router, and you can just see each of them as needed. So they're all overlapping right now, but yeah, you can click them and you can see individual interface traffic as needed. Sorry. So yeah, this is how you can view interface specific traffic utilization. You can see each interfaces, the in traffic, the out traffic, all the information is shown here. And you can see this for volume as well as utilization. So all such information is already here. Now you can also see traffic utilization for applications. So here you have a list of applications in your network and bandwidth utilization, how much traffic they're using. So here is a bit of an equitable traffic utilization. They're all using the same amount, but yeah, and yeah, whether how much your the based on the data, the traffic used by your application, they'll be shown here. And yeah, so here you can see and you can also see protocol based traffic utilization if you want. Now, after that, we have source. So what this does is tell you the source of your traffic. Where is it coming from? And you can see this on the basis of IP addresses. You can resolve the IP addresses into DNSs. It's not resolving right now. And you can also locate them using geolocation to see which location, which regions it is coming from. And the same applies for destination as well. You can see IP addresses, you can resolve this IP addresses into the required DNSs, and you can see the geolocation of where they're coming from. And you can see the utilization and the amount of traffic. So this is another thing. And you have QoS. So under QoS, what you can do is there are different QoS policies. You can see the traffic share of this QoS policies. Where this comes handy is in traffic shaping. So if there are certain critical functionalities, certain critical services, or certain critical applications, if there are certain critical applications for which you want to prioritize the traffic, you want that application or that service to have the best possible bandwidth, then you can define a QoS service like that, and then you can view the results of this as a report here in QoS. So this is helpful in traffic shaping. Under conversation, you can see the source and destination devices and the traffic share of those. So you can see which are the top talkers in a particular network, like your network. And similarly, in ASView, you can see autonomous systems, and you can see the traffic utilization for those autonomous systems. Here in security, you can monitor abnormal traffic and security incidents. You can also monitor cloud services and users. So basically, you get complete visibility into how your traffic and how your bandwidth is being used. Now, similar to OpManager, you can configure to raise alerts in NFA, the NetFlow add-on, and you can get notifications for those add-ons. To do that, just go to settings, go to notification profiles, like we mentioned in the last part, add. Let's say we want to create an email notification, go next. Here, as you can see, you can see when any NFA alarm, NFA stands for Network Flow Analyzer. So when any of these alarms are triggered, you will receive a notification. So that's how you trigger a notification. We also have a dedicated report section for flow analysis here under NetFlow. You can see different kinds of reports which you can leverage to get better insights about your network, your traffic, your bandwidth, everything. So this is basically the overview of the NetFlow add-on. Let's move on to the next one, that is Network Configuration Manager. Network Configuration Manager add-on helps you monitor configuration changes, compliance, and vulnerabilities across your network. It's challenging to monitor the changes done to each device in your network. So, for the devices in your network, people would be doing the admins, they'll be doing configuration changes, there'll be updates to the firmware, there'll be different things being done, a lot of changes. So, it's very hard to keep track of these changes for especially for large networks where there are like lots of devices, hundreds of devices. NCM helps resolve this by listing changes done to your device one by one, so you can review and monitor vulnerabilities for the device, backup configurations, set baselines, monitor compliance violations, and so on. So this takes care of the security aspects like compliance and vulnerabilities. All those other side of the network monitoring, it takes care. basically you can monitor and detect anomalous activities and ensure that stable backups are available. So you can monitor any kinds of anomaly, any kind of vulnerability, and if you do discover that, you can ensure that there are stable backups to which you can revert back to and you know keep your network up and running. To add a device to the configuration module, the NCM module, Network Configuration Manager module, you will need the SSH or telnet credential to get the device discovered. The license for this is based on the number of devices for which you want to manage configuration, change, and compliance. So let's see how this works in the product. Go to network and config management. So here you have the list of devices right here. And let's say I want to, in the summary, so let's say I want to select a device here. Let's select this device. Here you have the summary page. So as usual, the summary page contains information such as the IP address, the credentials with which you use to monitor it, and the device templates, syslog change detection, all the basic information are here. You can see all the configuration changes here in this particular list. You can see the change when it is done, what version it is done to, who is it changed by, the type of configuration, and whether it is authorized or unauthorized. So you can see a lot of changes here are unauthorized. So yeah, you can see complete list right here. Now, under firmware vulnerabilities, you have a list of vulnerabilities for this particular device, the type of that vulnerability, as the base score, and the severity, how important this is. So, how does NCM add-on and OpManager get this information? So, data about firmware vulnerabilities is automatically updated by NCM every day at 3 in the morning from the National Institute of Standards and Technology, or NIST. So NCM gets its data from NIST and it updates it here. So your devices can always be safe, up to date against the newer and newer vulnerabilities that are being discovered. So this is basically how it is shown. All the vulnerabilities will be listed here. You can see this and take action to secure your network. Now, enabling backups for devices ensures that in the event of a faulty configuration, you can easily revert back to a stable one. So I already mentioned this. If you have stable backups ready, in case something goes wrong, you can always revert it back, and you can get your network up and running in minutes. That can be done here. So in the summary page itself, you can see the startup configuration and the running configuration of this particular device. So if you click that, it'll take you to the particular version that is right now running. So this is the version, the configuration version. So imagine you have a version that's an exceptionally stable version, and you want to set that version as the baseline. That is the most stable version. So you can, in case of an event, in case of an anomaly, in case of an error, you can always revert back to the baseline. So how to set that baseline? So whatever version that you want to set as baseline, click here and click the sandwich icon here, and you can see the option right here, set as baseline. Once you enable this, this particular configuration will be set as the baseline. Now, that is how you can set the baselines, right? Enabling also, we already mentioned this, like you want to do backups, right? So if you want to do backups for your devices en mass or en bulk, what you can do is from this list right here, you can select the devices you want to do backups for. Select all the devices, click the three dotted icon here, and you have backup. So once you do this, this will be all these devices, the configurations will be backed up in mass. So that's how you do a backup for a device. Now, you can also do this for an individual device by clicking the action button here, and you have the option to backup right here. So this is how you perform a backup. Now, let's say you don't want to do this manually. You don't want to know the backup parts all the time manually. Instead, you can enable this option called change detection. So when you enable change detection, what NCM add-on does is it'll basically monitor the configurations for any changes. Is there any changes? If there are changes, then the NCM add-on will detect that and then back up the configuration automatically. So your manual effort is reduced. Right. Now, like when this configuration change, when these changes happen, what if you want to review these changes? To review these changes, you can do something called the diff view or the difference view. So this is the diff. These are the differences between various configurations. So these are the differences for this configuration with the previous configuration. So this configuration version is 202, and For the previous configuration, there are like 19 new additions, 2 modifications. No, there's nothing deleted. And with the baseline, there's like 837. So baseline is the most stable version. For this, there's like so many changes. So you can see these changes by clicking right here. So these are all the modifications for this running configuration with the baseline, the first one. We can also see all the additions and all the deletions. So what this does is you can, on the left side, it's the first version is shown. That is the baseline version for this particular device. And on the right side, the current version is shown, right? And you can just scroll down and look at each of the changes. You can filter for addition to the configuration. You can see what are being added. You can filter modifications. You can filter deletions. Everything you can filter and view, right? And you can do this not just for the baseline and the current version. You can do this for any version right here. You can select the versions as you need it, and you can select on the right hand side, and they'll be listed right here for your reference. So you can see what are the changes being done, right? So this is the diff view or the difference view. Now, what else? We already discussed the different part. Now let's talk about compliance. So under the compliance tab, you have the name of the device, the policy, and how the compliance status is. Click here and you can see the violations and the compliances. So based on this, if your device is not compliant, you can take the necessary action. So this is how the NCM add-on basically ensures your devices, the backups are saved, the configuration changes are detected, and firmware vulnerabilities are detected and solved. All the compliance violations are detected, so it secures your network in a new way. Now, similar to your NFA add-on, you can also configure to receive notifications for this particular using the NCM add-on. So this has another way of doing it. Let's go to settings. Here under add-ons, select NCM. In the left side, we have change notifications right here. So all the change notifications will show up right here, so you can view it specifically for that reason. And we also have a dedicated report sections for NCM as well. As you can see right here, all the configuration change trends, startup running conflicts, changes, network health status, everything is right here. So that is all about NCM or Network Configuration Manager. Moving on, let's talk about the next part, that is firewall log analysis using Firewall Analyzer add-on. So this add-on helps you monitor your firewall logs, firewall rules, configurations, backup, and compliance. It's primarily a reporting tool that allows you to monitor and ensure network security. So this is another aspect of network security that is focused on firewalls. So how can you add your firewall devices to OpManager for monitoring? Well, to do that, you have to forward the syslogs from your firewall devices to OpManager's default syslog listener port, which is 1514 UDP. So OpManager has its default syslog listener port, and you can forward syslogs from your firewall to OpManager's port for firewall analysis. So let me take you to the UI and explain the rest of it. So again, under network, you have firewall log analysis. Select that. And yeah, here we go. These are all the firewall devices that is here under the FWA or Firewall Analyzer add-on. Click the plus button to add it. As you can see right here, different ways of adding the firewall device is here. Anyways, let's see how we can monitor this. Sorry about that. Okay, select a firewall device. So here in the summary page, as usual, you have all the information about the device. You have the name, the IP address, the type of device, the downlink, uplink speed, all this stuff. You can configure device rules, SNMP settings, such things. And now here in the summary page, you also have the in traffic and out traffic right here. In the bandwidth page, you'll be able to see live in and out traffic. Like the other graphs, you can filter this out, see the live in and out traffic at 5-minute averages. You can change the unit of the graph as you need it. So all this information is right here. Now, in top 10, you get details of top 10 host and destination devices. See, host devices, which are the top 10 traffic using host destinations. Then what are the different protocol groups, internal servers, external sites, conversations, similar to what we had in NFA. Conversations are also shown. This is all based on your firewall, information collected by your firewall. Now here in sites, you'll be able to see details about allowed and denied websites. So as a network administrator, as part of your organization's policy, you might want to block or deny certain sites, and you might want to allow certain sites. So information about that and the traffic utilization for that will be shown right here in allow insights. So right now we don't have any denied websites, but yeah, these are the allowed sites and the traffic share. Now here in VPN, what we have is information about VPN connections. This is especially relevant in the post-pandemic era when many organizations prefer to have the workforce working from their homes. So here using this, you can track VPN users, sessions, traffic, such things. Complete overview about your VPN systems. Now, here in application is basically another way of showing application traffic share, similar to what we had in the NFA add-on. Here under rules, what you have is you basically use the firewall. You have certain rules. How do you allow and deny certain things? So basic function of your firewall is to basically control what comes into your network and what goes out of your network. So for that, you need to set rules, right? And based on those rules, you have a report right here. So you can usage strength of firewall rules, top allowed rules, top denied rules, unused rules. Such things are shown here. So this is the rule section. Now we'll elaborate about rules later. Actually, right now we'll elaborate about these rules. So how can you create a rule for your firewall using OpManager? So for that, go to settings, go to add-ons, select firewall. Here in firewall server on the left panel, you have device rule. So yeah, here you can have a list of the existing rules. You can add one here, right here. You can import the rule file or import the configuration file. So these are all the different ways of doing it. And you can also delete them. So this is how you can add rules to your firewall device using OpManager. Now, all your framed rules, the rules that you create will be listed in the rule management part of the what we saw in the firewall. Like we just saw it right here. So all the rules will be shown and you'll be able to see what are top rules. All such information about rules can be seen here. Now, OpManager and the Firewall Analyzer add-on does something extra with this. It detects anomalies with rules and creates suggestions which can be used to optimize the rules and firewall performance in general. So it not only does it list the different rules, but it also analyzes those rules because it's a firewall analyzer. It analyzes those rules and gives you if there are some inefficiencies or some anomalies with those rules. It will show you suggestions on how to fix that. So for that, go to reports, go to firewall reports. Here you have policy optimization. Select that and you have policy anomalies. So this will basically show you a set of anomalies with your rules and how you can and show you ways to fix this. So let me explain each kind of anomalies. First kind we'll talk about is the shadow anomaly. So a shadow anomaly is basically the kind of an anomaly when a rule matches all the packets as a subsequent one, and the subsequent rule performs different actions in a form of one. So the first rule will 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 apply to the same set of packets as the second rule, but the second rule also does more than that. It applies to different ones as well. So basically what we have is the first rule is shadowed by the second rule. So let's see one such rule. When you click here, you can see the rule, the number of the rule, the source, the destination, the interfaces, and the services, anything. And what this does, it's basically a deny rule, and the description shows you rule 9 is shadowed by rule 18, which means that rule 18 does everything that rule 9 does. In addition to that, it also does some other functionalities. So what this means is that you can just remove rule 9 and the security policy will remain the same. There won't be any changes because it's shadowed by rule 18. This is a very useful insight for you. Similarly, we have redundancy anomaly. So this happens when a rule matches all the packets as subsequent one. So both rules apply to the same packets in the same way. They perform the same functionality. In essence, they are duplicates. So let's see redundancy rules. So yeah, you have a list of redundancy rules right here. And it says, yeah, rule 17 is redundant because of rule 18, which means that rule 18 and rule 17 basically perform the same functionalities. It applies to the same packets. So we can remove either one of them and the security policy will still remain strong. Similarly, you have other redundancy rule issues right here. And shadow and redundancy anomalies are very similar to each other. and you can remove, in the case of shadow anomaly, you can remove the rule which is being shadowed, and in case of the redundancy anomaly, you can remove any of them. So another kind of anomaly is correlation anomaly. So if two rules have different filtering actions and the first rule matches with some package in the second rule or vice versa, it is said to be a correlation rule. So let's see a correlation rule. This is a correlation rule that has a source and everything. And so the description says rule 15 is correlated to rule 19. So they have different filtering actions, but some of what rule 15 does will be done by rule 19. So you can make it more efficient by reducing the overlap here. The generalization anomaly is another kind of anomaly. If the first rule matches all the packets that the second rule matches, but the second rule does not match all the packets that the first rule does, it's not a generalization anomaly. So here you have a list of different generalization anomaly, and you can say, yeah, this rule is a generalization of this rule. So by eliminating and optimizing such rules, you can definitely improve the performance of your firewall devices, and you can also make your network more secure. So this is policy optimization. You can also have suggestions right here. You can have fine tuning, usage of objects, duplicate objects. All such information will be shown right here. So that's that. We also, yeah, like we just mentioned earlier, this is actually part of the firewall reports. These are all dedicated reports of firewall analyzer add-on. Now let's talk about the next add-on, that is OpUtils. It performs IP management and switch port mapping. So tracking and managing IP addresses, tracing devices connected to a particular switch port, number of unoccupied ports, and rogue devices is a challenging task. Basically, because of the sheer number involved in the task, there are like a lot of IP addresses, there are like lots of switch ports, and there's like a lot of rogue devices which will try to connect with your network. So keeping track of all this is a bit of a tough task. If you do this using a spreadsheet or if a separate tool, this will be a hassle because you'll have to toggle between different tools, and spreadsheet don't let me, like, it's very hard to keep track of such things in a spreadsheet. A lot of manual work involved. So OpUtils, which is OpManagers, IPAM, which is IP address management, and SPM, which is switch port management. So switch port monitoring. So OpUtils is OpManagers, IPAM, and SPM add-on, and it brings you an integrated and centralized console for IP address management and switch port mapping. So it's basically it performs all of what we mentioned earlier. So it has over 20 tools which help you perform network monitoring tasks like detecting rogue device intrusions, keeping bandwidth usage in check, monitoring the availability of critical devices, and backing up Cisco configuration. In addition to IP address management and switch port management, it also features over 20 tools which can aid you in network troubleshooting, like address monitoring, DNS resolution, pinging, trace routing. Such things can all be done using this OpUtils add-on. So let me just show this to you in the UI. Go to network, select IP management. So here under IP address manager, you have a list of all the subnets in this network. You can see the names which will get resolved and the size, how many IP addresses they contain, and the usage, how some of them are fully used, as you can see, some are partially used and some are unused. So this, and then you have the status, whether they're scanned, whether how many are being used in each, available ones, transient ones, the scan time. You can scan them again if you want right here. So what you have is when you click on a certain particular IP address subnet, you have a list of all the IP addresses in this particular subnet, and you have information such as, yeah, you can, if the MAC address resolution is successful, you'll have the MAC address right here. You'll have the DNS name of this particular IP, the device which is using this IP address. You have the same thing. It will basically, it will resolve it forward and backward. And yeah, and if there are some errors, like here in this case, there's a forward lookup IP mismatch. Such errors will be reported right here. So as you can see, this IP is different from this IP. That's why this is there. Whether it is used or transient, such things are all listed here in the IP details. So this is what IP address manager does, gives you a complete visibility into the resources, IP address resources that you're using in your network. Now, another thing what OpUtils can do is switch port mapping. So this is a comprehensive overview of the the ports in your switches and how they're being used, the status, their health, and such things. Let me go into this switch. Yeah, this is a port view which contains the switch's ports. It's basically a visualization of different ports and their status, whether they're down or they're up. Here under ports, you have more comprehensive information about the interfaces, the name, the index, the port number, whether it's available, and whether it's the status is down. the MAC address resolution, the VLAN ID, such things. You have complete information about the switch port, and you can map it right here as the name suggests. So this is how switch port mapping works. Another feature that Oputers has is rogue device detection. So this is basically a list of all the rogue devices that have been trying to connect to your network when they were discovered, their network interface, card types, the connected switches. Such information will all be provided right here. This is rogue device detection. This is another thing that Oputers does. And like the other add-ons, we have dedicated reports for Oputers as well. So you can leverage this to get complete information about the IP address and switch port mapping in your network. So moving on, we'll talk about the last module. This is Applications Manager. So Applications Manager is unlike the other add-ons because it's a plugin. That is, unlike other add-ons, you have to download and install it separately. So we call it a plugin. This module helps you monitor heterogeneous sets of applications across physical, virtual, and cloud environments and helps deliver a smooth end user experience. So let's see this in the UI. Here you have applications in the tab. Select that. So this is a complete list of monitors that we're doing right now. Now let's see what we can monitor with the applications manager. So select add monitor. So here you have a complete list of what can be monitored. You can monitor application performance for things like .NET, Java, Node.js, PHP, Linux, such applications, Ruby on Rails, such applications you can monitor. You can monitor application servers like Apache, Geronimo server, Glassfish, Resin, Oracle, IBM WebSphere, such application servers you can monitor. You can monitor cloud apps like AWS, Google Cloud, Microsoft 365, Azure, such cloud applications you can monitor. And for each of these monitors, very detailed performance metrics can be monitored. So this will explain soon. You can monitor converged infrastructure like UCS, Nutanix. You can perform custom monitors for database queries, file directory monitors. You can monitor database servers like Cassandra, MS SQL, such things like all of this Oracle, NoSQL, all databases can be monitored. You can monitor ERPs. You can monitor end user experience using end user monitoring. Monitor mail servers, middleware, servers, services, virtualization. Very comprehensive virtualization monitoring features right here. Web services, everything can be monitored using applications manager. Now let's go to certain things that we can monitor and see how in-depth the monitoring is. So let's go to application or web servers. We have such a monitor right here for a Tomcat server. Click here and you have a complete overview of the health, the availability, today's availability, such information. This is the response time, performance, thread usage. So this is like OpManager. We have a complete summary of everything. Now let's go to memory, see the memory utilization, memory usage, such information. You have thread, JDBC, web applications, servlets, configuration, all such information is right here. So this is very comprehensive monitoring for the server. Similarly, for database servers, you have information, very summary. You have performance-based performance metrics, something specific to databases, sessions, replications, configurations, all such information is right here. In website monitor, you can also monitor websites for availability, health, and you can configure alarms in case the websites go down. So yeah, this is a monitor for this particular home page. And yeah, you have information for the particular website, availability, attributes, different monitors, everything is listed right here. So this is what you can use applications manager for. You can monitor applications, cloud services, websites, all the higher end of your network infrastructure. Now here, let's see what kind of cloud applications you can monitor. So like I mentioned before, these are the cloud applications you can monitor. And under the APM tab, this is another feature called APM Insight. So this will help you gain deep insights into the performance of your applications across all layers of your infrastructure. So you can track business critical transactions, you can identify errors, detect anomalies, and trace the root cause of performance degradation with ease. So this is what you can use APM Insight for. This is an additional add-on. And then under the user experience tab, you can perform end user monitoring. So basically what this does is you can monitor what the users would experience from outside your corporate network. So APM or applications manager would go outside your corporate network and to certain devices which you set for this and monitor things like DNS, LDAP, real browser monitoring. So basically, you can experience what the user is experiencing, and you can take actions proactively before they are inconvenienced. So this is what end user experience does, and applications manager does such things and more. You can see the alarms right here. This is what applications manager does. Moving on. So we are done with the add-ons. These are the different add-on modules in OpManager. Now let's talk about integrations. An important criterion when it comes to selecting a good network monitoring tool is see whether the tool can easily integrate with other applications. So in any case, you won't be able to perform everything with a single tool. We've been trying to do that, but with the add-ons, you can perform almost complete IT operations management, but things outside IT operations management like help desk and communication, you need to definitely use other tools. And if your monitoring tool is able to integrate with those other tools, your job will be that much easier, right? And so if that is one criteria you're looking for in a network monitoring tool, then OpManager is the one for you. OpManager supports a variety of integrations with third-party applications and manages its own products. This allows you to extend OpManager's capabilities beyond IT operation management and streamline your entire IT processes. So let's see the different products, so these are all the integration products that we use, that we support, as you can see right here. Let's start with each of them. Let's start with the integrations with ITSM or IT service management products. So Op Manager, when it's integrated with desk products or IT service management products, Op Manager, when it raises alarms, when something goes wrong with the network, if it's integrated with the desk applications, these alarms will be raised as tickets in your desk apps. So I already mentioned this before in the last part, I believe. So this is a very convenient feature. So instead of an issue inconveniencing your users or your clients for them to raise an issue and logging a ticket, what this does is Op Manager itself will automatically detect the issue. And usually when the issue is detected, it won't be big enough to inconvenience your users. If you set the thresholds, the alerts, if you're enabled adaptive thresholds, things like that, if you're already set it up, Op Manager will detect the issue much before the users notice, and it will immediately log a ticket in the integrated help desk product. So then all the relevant information like the priority, the where, which device it is, what kind of which department it should be raised to, such information can also be configured with the right kind of integration tools. So this ticket will then be assigned to the required technician, and the technician can start working on the issue with a head start before the users notice. And even when the users notice and they raise an issue, they'll be like, it's already the ticket is raised and they're working on it. So and you can also keep the ticket and the alert in sync. So all the alarm data is automatically converted into tickets and vice versa. Using this option, you can also sync. So with Op Manager and Service Desk Plus, what you can do is you can sync your IT assets between Op Manager and Service Desk Plus. So we already mentioned the inventory in Op Manager, which contains all the devices that you're monitoring, right? So when it is integrated, these inventory devices will be synced with Service Desk Plus own inventory. So any changes in the network, networks are dynamic, devices are added and removed frequently. Such changes will also be reflected in the services plus inventory. And you can even sync Op Manager's layer 2 topology map, which we explained in the previous session. You can sync that map with services plus own relationship maps. So such conveniences are possible, which will enable you to streamline your operations very easily. Now, how do we enable these third-party integrations? So to do that, go to settings. Under general settings, you have third-party integrations. Click it, and you have the list of third-party integrations. You can see all of them right here. So we can see Services Plus, on Cloud, ServiceNow, Jira, and other integrations with other products. Let's talk about them now. The presentation. So we have other integrations with products like Slack, Analytics Plus, and Alarms One. Let's talk about Slack first. So if you integrate Op Manager with Slack, alarms in Op Manager will be logged as messages in your Slack app, so you can straight away discuss this with your teammates. In case something goes wrong with the network, certain devices go down, certain performance issues occur, this will be turned into messages in Slack. And this is a direct integration. So this will be very seamless. and you can immediately start discussing this with your teammates, with your superiors, anyone, and you can start resolving the issue with the discussions. So this is how Slack integration works. With Analytics Plus, what you get is you can unify data from multiple applications or monitoring tools, and it basically provides you, it analyzes the data and provides you with the in-depth information and automated insights for faster decisions. This is a complements the network monitoring and analysis of OpManager with its own analysis. Then you have Alarms One. Alarms One is a consolidation tool. So what it does is it consolidates IT alerts from all over your IT infrastructure. So you might use different products for different part of your IT. And Alarms One consolidates all of these alerts and groups them based on host, network device, application, database, and more. And it gives deeper visibility into each alert to help you minimize downtime and maximize performance. You can group alarms based on the severity, the category, can create filters and classify alerts, and can even get rid of redundant alerts. This is basically a way to manage your alerts and alarms. So these are the integrations that we offer. Now let's talk about OpManager's mobile application. So this one you can use to monitor your IT infrastructure from anywhere, whether you're in a meeting, whether you're commuting, whether you're taking a break, whether you're on vacation. In anytime you need it for your network, you can be there because you have OpManager configured in your smartphone. So Op Manager can do this by enabling push notifications for availability and performance alerts. So when such for certain alerts, not for all of them, you can configure which alerts you want to be configured as pushed as notifications. Once you do that, when those occur, you'll receive a push notification in your phone. So you'll immediately know that something is wrong. You can take corrective action. And what's more, you can enable home screen widgets. So these widgets will allow you to take a quick glance at your IT infrastructure. The mobile application presents you with comprehensive details about your IT infrastructure. So not it just gives you a complete overview of your IT infrastructure, but what's more, you can also drill down into each devices, each interfaces, and each performance monitor to get more in-depth information. And now that you have the information, what do? You can also take actions from your smartphone itself, like troubleshooting actions such as pinging a device, trace routing, performing a trace route, acknowledging certain alarms, adding notes. So if you want you saw this particular alert and you want to share a note with your technician, you can just directly do it from your phone. And such things is possible with OpManager's mobile application. So this mobile application is available in Play Store for Android devices and App Store for Apple devices, supported in most smartphones like that. So this is OpManager's mobile application. With this, we have come to the end of this part of OpManager's free training and also the season of OpManager's free training series. So this is it for this year. Let's see some of the questions that have been asked frequently. So the first question is, where should I check for online demos for these add-ons? So we have dedicated online demos for Op Manager as well as each of these add-on as the separate products. But you can see and use all of them from the Op Manager Plus demo, which is demo.opmanagerplus.com. The link to this will be shared in the webinar chat panel, so you can utilize it. You can perform all the functionalities uh, with the certain limitations in that demo, online demo itself. So this will be shared in the webinar chat panel. Please check it. Now, can I only have a few add-ons enabled? Of course, you can only have certain. So if you pay for those licenses, you can only have those add-ons enabled. So like we mentioned in the gear icon, this is why this is there. So you can select only certain add-ons if that's needed. So this is basically customizable. You can just ask for what you need, and this is configured so that you get what you need and nothing more. So that's how it is. Now, how to purchase only the required add-ons? So you can do this online by visiting store.opmanager.com and in your browser and choose the required module. So if you go to store.opmanager.com, you can see all the different license versions for different set of devices for different modules. Everything is there. You just need to take the ones that you want to buy and purchase it. The link for this will also be posted in the webinar chat panel. Next question is, where can I learn about all these add-ons? So you had a very comprehensive overview of Op Manager in this particular webinar series. Similar to this, we have webinars for all the other add-ons and all the other products that we mentioned. So By attending those webinars, you will get a much comprehensive information about those products. So all the different add-on webinars and everything, all the other product webinars will be also happen in the due time. So you can register for this from the link that is shared in the chat panel. So you can go there and register for all those add-ons if needed. And what's more, if you follow our social media handles, we'll be posting updates about such webinars and such events and the different events we attend across the world. All such information will be shown in our social media handles. So you can visit that if you want to know more about such things. Next question is, do you support integration with Service Desk Plus on cloud? Yeah, we do support both the on-premise edition and the cloud edition. I think you already saw this here. Under settings, the general settings, you have third-party integrations. Yeah, you can configure both Service Desk Plus on-premise and cloud. So these are all the questions we have. Before we move on, I request all of you to please take a moment and participate in the polls and let us know how this session was. There's a poll in the webinar panel. You can go and provide your feedback about this session and the webinar in general. Please do that. I'll wait for a moment for you to poll. We listed our solutions in review platforms like Gartner, Peer Insights, and Capterra. So we encourage customers to review us on these platforms. What's more, if you review our solutions, you can win an Amazon gift card. We'd also like to let you know that OpManager is now compliant with Federal Information Processing Standards, or FIPS 142. So FIPS 142 is used by the US government to enforce standards for cryptographic modules. OpManager is also now compliant with LLAMA. Basically, OpManager can help stockbrokers and financial services become LLAMA, which is a standard enforced by Securities and Exchange Board of India, or SEBI. So OpManager can ensure that such services are compliant with LLAMA. If you want to learn more in detail about OpManager, you can sign up for this certification and become an OpManager associate. The bonus is that for all the participants who attend all 4 sessions without fail, we'll grant you access to the certification program, which is worth $49. So since this is the 4th session, if you have attended all the previous ones and this one, you can access the certification course for free. And if you haven't attended all 4, don't worry, you can still access this course, but it'll be for $49. And if you complete it, you'll be awarded with the OpManager Associate Level Certificate. If you want to stay in the loop about everything new in IT operations management, follow us on LinkedIn, where we'll be sharing insights, articles, and infographics related to the IT operations management space. Follow us on LinkedIn by the link shown here, or the link that will be shared in the chat panel. You can find more resources about OpManager in our YouTube channel, ManageEngine iTom. We'll be posting new features, videos related to new features, new conversations, discussions, everything in the YouTube channel. In the help page, you can learn more about how to use our products in the help page. There's a lot of pages in the help pages. You can also participate in the online forum and let us know your opinions and queries about the product. You can talk with your fellow IT admins. You can talk with us and have discussions here and manage the pit stop. If you need any further help, we're always there for you. Please contact us through from the given mail ID right here, opmanagersupport@manageengine.com, or the numbers given here. We'll be available to help you out all the time. We have an OPM, or OpManager MSP free training coming up. So if you are an MSP who is struggling to monitor your multi-client architecture, this might be for you. You can register using the link that is dropped in the chat window. So this is an upcoming free training. I already mentioned that we have such trainings and webinar series for other products as well. OpManager MSP is such a product we have. This is OpManager, the functionalities of OpManager for managed service providers. So if you are an MSP, this would be incredibly helpful for you. You can register for that webinar in the link that is dropped in the chat panel. With this, we are done with the final part of this training series, and we're also done with the final season for this year. Thank you for attending the session, and I hope the objective for the whole training session is met. It's been nice presenting these webinars. Once again, I thank you all for patiently listening. Thank you.